Hello good yo-yo people, I'm Nate and this is Let's Talk Yo-Yo. Today I am reviewing the O by Traveling Throw. This is my review of the O. Alright, this is the in the hand section. What does it actually feel like in the hand before I throw it? If you're wondering where I'm at, this is not my fence. I'm actually at my in-laws right now in Nashville, Tennessee, and where the hot chicken is so good, I bought the t-shirt. It's fantastic. I had the best chicken and waffles I've ever had last night. No regrets. So the O by Traveling Throw. Traveling Throw is a really cool thing. If you've not checked them out, make sure you check out their website. They're good people. I reviewed the Rambler forever ago, what seems like forever ago, by Traveling Throw, and this yo-yo here, the OH, is miles different from that yo-yo. The Rambler was a competition-driven yo-yo, a signature yo-yo by one of their sponsored players, and it fit his style, and it was very competition-driven. There were some things I didn't absolutely love personally about it. It was a good yo-yo, I felt, but there were things that I'm like, that was kind of interesting. One of the things I didn't absolutely love was some of the aesthetics, because it was performance-driven. You know, a lot of performance-driven yo-yos tend to be not necessarily the most aesthetically pleasing, just because performance trumps aesthetics. This yo-yo, very aesthetically pleasing. Aesthetics. It's such a fun word. Anyway, so this yo-yo right away, just from pictures, before I had it in my hands, I was like, man, it's a beautiful yo-yo. Really clean, very just straightforward design, and it was organic, which, you know me, if you follow my channel, you know I love organic yo-yos. If I ever were to produce yo-yos, organic would probably be up there on my first yo-yo to release. This yo-yo is not just organic, it is huge. Is huge. All right, did I say that right? So it is. It's a big yo-yo, and in fact, if I had it with me, since I'm on vacation here, I don't have a ton of yo-yos with me. I only took a few. But the Big Boy 430, which just had another run because they were so awesome. They are awesome. This isn't much smaller than that. It's around that same size. Now it's not as wide. It's not super narrow either, but it's pretty big in diameter. It's a large yo-yo, so it's gonna fit larger hands a little bit better. If you're a kid, I don't think you'll have a challenge with it, but it is larger. So I'm 6'2", I have fairly large hands, so it fits my hands really well. I really like the feel in the hand. It's very comfortable. It has, I wouldn't say high walls, but it certainly has a little bit more of a high wall than you would have. It's not as flared out, which I think is pretty cool. I think that gives it a unique feature. It kind of has that blend of old school, new school sort of organic shape, which is, I like it. I like that a lot. There tends to be a little bit of a kickback right now with sort of kind of making it a little bit more of an old school feel, but updating some of the specs maybe, and the smoothness and that kind of thing that you didn't really have, 20 years ago. But some of the design inspiration from older yo-yos back in the 90s and so on, and early 2000s are getting into yo-yos now. And so this one definitely has that vibe to it, but it also has a modern sort of playability and look to it in the hand and so on. The blast, for instance, is really smooth. It's a really nice bead, or some kind of bead blast. I'm assuming it's a bead blast, but it's very matted. It's gonna be great for grinds. It's really nice, just slick on the hands as well. The color is really nice. It kind of it's this blue, but in the right lights, it kind of almost has like a purpley blue kind of look to it, sort of color changing in a way, just depending on how, what kind of light you throw it in. And so in direct light, it's certainly blue. But in more of the shadows, it kind of has a purple almost look to it. It's kind of fun. This is not a color that will be on the production runs though. So I think there's been a teaser of a black and white photo. The production is about to come out fairly shortly. I'm not sure if there's been a date to that. You can definitely check their Instagram if they've released a date for the actual release for this full run, for the first run. But this color will not be part of that, but it's a really cool color. I'm certain that the colors will be awesome. It has a very deep bowl to it, a nice IRG that's going to be very easy to hit if you're into thumb grinds and things like that, or if you want to talon grind it, that kind of thing. So it's going to be really nice for things like that. It does come with a center track bearing, some kind of center bearing, I'm not sure. Axle's fairly small. It's not any smaller than you typically have. I think it's probably 8mm. I'm not positive on that, but that's what I would guess. It looks like it's got flowgroove in it. If it was like the Rambler, it actually might be monkey finger snot that they use, which is pretty good. I like that stuff a lot. It's hard to tell if it's just clear, maybe. It might just be clear. I'm not certain, but it is flowgroove. I would assume it also takes pads as well if you aren't a fan of flowgroove for some reason, which if you aren't, I don't know why, but it's good stuff. It breaks in really nice. So really good price point as well. This yo-yo is gonna be a really nice budget metal for what it is too. So overall, I think just based on first impressions in the hand, before we actually throw it, you're gonna see that it's gonna be a much different yo-yo than the Rambler, which was a competition, performance-driven yo-yo. This one's gonna be a lot more fun, laid back, a lot floatier, bigger, heftier. It's certainly in the specs, it's heavier. So it's just gonna have a very different play and more relaxed, just chill vibe to it. So let's go ahead and play it, see if we're right. All right, welcome back to the on the string section with the O. I wonder if maybe the inspiration for the name was just because of the shape it is. It is an organic, and it is definitely more of a, you know, solid O shape. This yo-yo, I mentioned in the hand that it's super comfortable. Of course, you're going to expect that probably from organic yo-yos, but this is a very comfortable catch as well. The catch is just very solid on it and very comfortable in the hand. Like I said, I have fairly, you know, large hands, but I really don't see that if you're, you know, maybe not fully grown or you're a smaller person, that I don't think it's going to be so big that it's going to be cumbersome on a catch. It's really nice. Mentioned that IRG. It's very easy to pop. It has that old school feel to it a little bit. You don't see a lot of really deep IRGs in a ton of newer yo-yos, especially competition, performance-driven yo-yos. This is going to be a lot of fun. So, you know, for things that are like talon grinds, which I didn't do well, it's a little bit hotter here in Nashville, a little bit more humid, so my hands are a little bit sweaty, but I'm trying to dry them off between things just to give you a better impression for the... But even with a little bit damp hands, the grind surface is really nice. And it does feel really nice and just matted in the hand as well, just if you're not grinding. Now, as far as playability, if you look at the specs of this, you kind of almost can guess that it's going to be really floaty. It really is. And it's got just... You know, you hate using that term because a lot of yo-yos maybe use that term when it's not necessarily true. This yo-yo definitely is floaty, and it gives it that sort of laid back, chill play to it. I mean, you're going to be able to do some awesome tricks with this, but it's not going to be like for those speed combos or for those horizontal tricks because of just the weight and the size of it. Wanting to get into a real groove in your trick composition, this is going to be a good yo-yo for that. It definitely has that awesome float to it that you really look for in just a really chill yo-yo. The weight of this yo-yos too, it's heavy. It is definitely on the heavy spec. Hello. It is definitely on the heavy side of things. It doesn't break 70 yet, but it's close to it. And you do feel that a little bit. I've had this yo-yo for well over a week now, and I've played it, you know, in that 30 minutes or so, probably max. And I didn't really feel like it was so heavy that it was hurting my wrist. And I definitely don't feel like it's a brick. If it was a smaller diameter yo-yo, yeah, it would be a brick. But because how large the diameter of this yo-yo is, the weight is appropriate for it. You would expect a heavy weighted yo-yo. You'd have to shave off quite a bit on this yo-yo to make it any lighter. And actually, the weight's really nice on it. I don't think, you know, sometimes when you read specs, like really heavy yo-yos, if you don't like heavy yo-yos, you're like, I wouldn't even go near it. But actually, the weight's really nice. What's nice about it is that I really don't have to throw hard at all to get really solid spins. What's nice about this weight is that I don't really have to throw super hard at all to get solid spin times. You know, I don't really feel like I'm losing any of that. It's still snappy on the binds. All right, let's go ahead and throw a trick, and then we'll have a few last minute remarks. It's not as smooth as I've done that trick, but if you are interested in learning that trick or an element from that, I do have a tutorial on that trick. It's called Break the Wrist and Walk Away. I'll have it as a suggested post at the very end if you're interested. So my final remarks on the O by Traveling Throw. I really like this yo-yo. It's very different, miles different, like I said, from the Rambler, which was a very performance-driven yo-yo. I like performance-driven, competition-driven yo-yos, but I don't personally compete. I think the majority of us probably don't. Or if we do, we're always looking for a yo-yo that's just kind of like fun and you can just jive with and just get a chill session with. I would like to see more stuff like this from the community, realizing that yo-yos don't always have to be just performance driven, but can be just really fun, laid back, chill yo-yos as well. So that's my review of the Traveling Throw, the O. And as usual, good day and good yo-yo.